Now let's get started. My name is Leah from Painless Math, and I will be your tutor. Today's topic is the last video of Unit 1. And as a supplementary, we will be learning the terminologies like inequalities, absolute value, and reciprocals. Each of these is a very simple concept, so I'll just go through them quickly. First, let's look at inequalities. Inequalities are to describe the relative size of a number, greater than or less than. So, what is a greater or smaller number, anyway? As you probably already know, positive numbers, 0, and negative numbers are expressed on a number line like this. On a number line, the further to the right, the larger it becomes, and on the other hand, the further to the left, the smaller it becomes. As negative numbers are to the left of 0, so they are smaller than 0. This is very important, so I repeat. On a number line, the further to the right, the larger it becomes, and on the other hand, the further to the left, the smaller it becomes. As negative numbers are to the left of 0, so they are smaller than 0. And inequalities, which means greater than or less than, can be expressed with the symbols like this or that. And it reads as greater than or less than. The key point here is that the number on the open side is the larger number. For example, for A and an inequality symbol like this and B, it reads A is greater than B. For A and an inequality symbol like this and B, it reads A is less than B. Remember that the number on the open side is the larger number. Now let's look at the exercise. If you think that you can answer those questions yourself, feel free to stop this video and try it yourself first. If you are not so sure, then let's continue to look at this together. The question is to express the relationship between two numbers given in each question using an inequality symbol. Let's look at question number 1. Comparing -2 and +1. Which is greater? On the number line, the further to the right, the bigger it is. So, +1 is to the right of -2 on the number line. That means +1 is greater than -2. And when you use the inequality symbol to express that +1 is greater than -2, you have to make sure that the number on the open side of the symbol is the bigger number. Therefore, answer would be -2 on the closed side, and 1 on the open side like this. And it reads -2 less than 1. Next is question number 2, which is 5 and -5. Again, let's look at the number line. The negative number is to the left of 0, the positive number is to the right of 0. And the further left you go, the smaller the number becomes, and vice versa, the further right you go, the larger the number becomes. So -5 is here, and 5 is here on the number line. So now we know that 5 is greater than -5. And when we express this in terms of an inequality, we get -5 on the closed side, and 5 on the open side like this. And it reads -5 less than 5. So far, so good. Same thing with question number 3. Now, we compare -4 and -2. If we look at the number line, -4 is here, and -2 is here. Since the number gets larger as it goes to the right, -2 is larger than -4. Therefore, the answer is -4 on the closed side, and -2 on the open side like this. And it reads -4 less than -2. Or you can also write this and say -2 greater than -4. Question number 4 is to compare 0 and -3. Again, on the number line, -3 is here, and 0 is here. And 0 is to the right of -3, isn't it? So, we know that 0 is larger than -3. Therefore, the answer is -3 on the closed side, and 0 on the open side. And it reads -3 less than 0. Finally, question number 5. It is to compare -98 and +68. Although we can't write them on this number line as there is no space for such big numbers, you can see that the further to the left, the more negative the number becomes. So we know that -98 is somewhere all the way to the left. And you also know that +68 is on the opposite side, somewhere all the way to the right. So the answer would be -98 on the closed side, and +68 on the open side like this. And it reads -98 less than 68. Now, let's take a look at absolute value. What is absolute value? Absolute value is the distance from 0 to a certain number on a number line. This is an important point, so let me repeat it. The distance from 0 on a number line is called absolute value. For example, if you are asked what the absolute value of -4 is, the distance from 0 to -4 on the number line is 4, because -4 is the point on the number line that moves 4 places to the left from 0. So the absolute value of -4 is 4. Then, what about the absolute value of +5? Since +5 is the point on the number line where the number moves 5 to the right from 0, the distance from 0 is 5. So the absolute value of +5 is 5. Okay. By the way, I'll show you a little trick. If someone asks you, what is the absolute value of a certain number? You can get the absolute value by just removing the plus or minus sign from the number. You can use this technique on the test, but it is important to remember that absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line, which is a very important concept. One more thing. If you were asked, what are the numbers whose absolute value is 3? What would you say? Let's recall the definition of absolute value. Absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line. That means that the answer would be the number whose distance from 0 is 3. If you just answer +3, you are wrong. Because there is another number whose distance from 0 is 3, isn't there? Yes, -3. -3 has the same distance from 0 as 3. So, the answer is +3 and -3. This is a bit tricky, so be careful. In summary, if you were asked what is the absolute value of -3, then, the answer would be 3. But if you were asked, what are the numbers whose absolute value is 3? Then the answer would be +3 and -3. Okay. Finally, I'll talk about a reciprocal. This is very simple, so I'll just go through it quickly. A reciprocal is the inverse of a number, which means it is the number that, when multiplied with a given number, becomes 1. Let's look at examples. What is the reciprocal of 3? A reciprocal is the number that, when multiplied with a given number, becomes 1. So the reciprocal of 3 would be 1/3. Because 3 times 1/3 equals 1. I will show you a little trick to easily find the reciprocal. That is, just flip the given number upside down and you get the reciprocal. Easy, isn't it? What about the reciprocal of 2/5? What would you say? Use the trick I just told you. Just flipping the given number upside down gives you 5/2. If you multiply 2/5 by 5/2, the denominator and numerator are reduced to 1/1, which equals 1. It works. So the reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. Okay. Next one. What about the reciprocal of -4? It's the same thing. It's the number that multiplies to 1. So, the answer is the inverse of -4, which is -1/4. Just flip the given number upside down. But please be careful of this question. The reciprocal of -4 is -1/4, not +1/4. Because if you multiply -4 by +1/4, the answer will be -1, not 1. So it needs to be multiplied by -1/4 to get 1. So, that's it for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. This concludes Unit 1, the number system. In the next unit, we will talk about expressions and equations. Please make sure to watch that video too. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for the easiest math tutorials on planet.